It's time to take command with former NFL tight end Logan Paulsen and former Commanders beat reporter Craig Hoffman.
Take 5 on a Thursday. What's up? What's happening? I'm Craig Hoffman. He is Logan Paulsen. And today, it's the second time that the Commanders are playing New York this weekend, the Giants. So we did our Giants stories previously, which is how we typically handle this Thursday, Take 5. So I was like, what else can we do? What else is relative to the Giants, or to the Giants right now that we can tell stories about? And Logan, what we've come up with is emergency quarterbacks, because that's really what Tommy DeVito is. And I will say, a small preview of tomorrow. I'm a little scared that the Giants scoring a couple of touchdowns in the fourth quarter. I'm like, oh, is he comfortable now? Is this going to be a nightmare scenario for Washington this weekend? I think anyone that's watched the burgundy and gold faced Big Blue over the years is probably scarred by all kinds of silliness when it comes to bad Giants teams beating any kind of Washington team. But realistically, Tommy DeVito is not a good NFL quarterback at this stage of his life. There's no shame in that. There's not a reflection of him as a human being. But man, it's been ugly these last couple of weeks for the Giants quarterback. And it's because he's their third guy. It's someone who was never intended to play this year. So what experience do you have with third string / emergency quarterbacks from your career? Because we've definitely seen a number of them over the years. COVID, Denver had to play a wide receiver a couple of years ago. But did you ever have anything that was super crazy?
Yeah, I mean, obviously in Chicago I had a story, but I'll save that for the second half of this. But the one that I vividly remember was when we played, I think, Minnesota in 11. I don't remember exactly, 11. Yeah. And Christian Ponder got hurt. It was the year after Favre retired, or Favre had gotten hurt the week before. So he was kind of the backup, new guy coming in, whatever. And so in that game, he gets hurt with a hamstring or concussion or something like that. Adrian Peterson goes down, tearing his ACL. And so we're like, oh my gosh, we're going to win this game. And, obviously they bring in a guy named Joe Webb, who was playing receiver and special teams at the time. And so, how good could this guy be? I think he goes 4 for 85 or 90, something like that, 2 touchdowns. And has a couple big runs, and then Gerhardt comes in and has he's 11 for 105 or something like that. So the backup quarterback, a guy that was playing receiver, playing special teams, comes out and is straight balls against us. And again, that was kind of one of those things where, the backup quarterback running around and being different stylistically probably hurt us. But I just remember thinking this guy came out of nowhere and just straight balled. So that was interesting.
So it's the anti-disaster story.
Yeah.
What was disaster for you? For the quarterback, though, it was perfect. How perfect? Yes. He had 158.3 rating in the game. That is a literal perfect quarterback rating. Joe Webb went 4 of 5 for 84 yards, 2 touchdowns. And then he also had 5 rushes for 34 yards and another touchdown. You are correct. Toby Gerhardt, 11 carries, 109. He also had a 67-yarder. Yeah. So big old white man rumbling.
Yeah, not known.
What do they
for
used to call him?
I don't know what they used to call him.
It was I don't know. He had some nickname. Let me click on Toby Gerhardt and see what the nickname was.
See what it is. But yeah, so that was a situation where the backup quarterback did a really good job. In Chicago, the last time I played with a third string guy was Matt Barkley in Chicago. So basically, Jay Cutler goes down. Obviously, that was that weird year where he's coming off an injury. They're negotiating his contract. It was kind of gross. Are they tanking? Are they not? Hoyer comes in, playing pretty good, hurts himself badly, misses a bunch of time. And then Matt Barkley comes in, who was on practice squad earlier in the year. Yeah. And ends up playing pretty good. But in one of those situations where it's I'm trying to remember the game. I think we were playing against, I forget. But basically he had 3 touchdowns, but 4 interceptions. And that was kind of how he played the whole year. It was a lot of offensive production, but a lot of turnovers at the same time. So there's a reason that they're the backup quarterback, outside of Joe Webb, who came out and balled his face off. So
and Joe Webb wound up doing that a bunch of times in his career.
Yeah.
He wound up in Carolina. I think he played for Ron in Carolina for a while.
Yeah.
The best I could find for Toby Gerhardt, by the way, is the Albino Rhino.
Oh my gosh, that's a heck of a nickname.
Spectacular. It was always fun to keep track of who the emergency quarterback was, especially when someone got hurt. So Darrell Young was here for a while.
That's right.
Darrell played some quarterback in college. And then Jordan Reed was the emergency quarterback.
That one made
for a
more
while.
sense, actually, because he actually played in college. Yeah.
Yeah. I think Terrell did too.
Did he? I just remember him so I was here on the team when he was the emergency quarterback. On every Friday, we would go through scenarios where this is the offense we would run if you're in. So we'd run a couple zone reads, and then he'd run throw a couple slammer screens. So a slammer screen is that one where the receiver takes one step up and comes back, and you just throw him the ball. And he used to throw absolute fireballs, I guess hard as he could. And I'm like, man, he could throw the ball, but it was just there was no touch on the football whatsoever, which makes sense coming from a fullback. So
right, no, I remember we would ask Jordan every once in a while, if someone quarterback got hurt or Colt's sick during the week, and it's like, hey, bro, what happens if you actually go in? And Jordan would just kind of be like, I don't know. It felt like he was the emergency quarterback because he played quarterback in college, but Jay didn't actually ever tell him hey man, if you go in, this is how we're going to operate.
Right.
That or Jordan was good at playing coy. It'd be fun we now need to have Jordan back on to Take 5 just to ask him this question.
But you were here, you covered the team in 2015, right? When they had 12 quarterbacks come through. That was
that was 18.
18.
Yeah, because it started with Alex Smith, and then they had a bunch of dudes get hurt. And it wound up with Josh Johnson, was the guy who kind of finished out the year. But yeah, no, it was Alex, and then Colt obviously, and then had his leg injury, and then after that, Mark Sanchez, which was a total dumpster fire, and then Josh Johnson. I think it was the four of them.
Was Keenum in that year or no?
No, Case came in the next year.
Okay,
and that's when they drafted Dwayne. And they probably should have just let Colt play.
It was a wacky bit.
That was a wacky year, man. Those 2 years.
That's a really good example of one where it's if you're the Giants, why don't you go find Josh Johnson right now, or
because Josh Johnson's probably available. He's always available.
I know, but that's what I'm saying. Unless you believe in Tommy DeVito, why not make a move?
Yeah, no, I totally hear you on that. I think the answer would be because we just know, what's the point? We're not even trying to be competitive. We're drafting a quarterback next year. We are totally resetting this thing. We're going to let Saquon walk, or we'll trade him or whatever. We accidentally won last year, and now it's time for the rebuild that we should have embarked on. And damn it, we gave Daniel Jones a bunch of money. That would be my response. Is we want to stink to have the highest draft pick possible, and Tommy DeVito's our man for the job. Sorry. All due respect to
Tommy. All due respect.
Tommy DeVito, a man who has a very distinct choice in colleges. He goes to schools that are orange and blue. A Syracuse man who transferred to Illinois.
Really?
Yeah.
Was he good at Syracuse?
Relatively speaking. Our football acumen, our football prestige has not been high as of late.
I see. I got you.
So it's not a great time. Not that I really care that much anymore, but not great. All right, that's Take 5. We'll see you for the full preview. By the way, of the backup quarterback for Tommy DeVito is...
I don't know.
Matt Barkley.
Really? Old Matty
Full circle,
boy.
baby.
Old Matty boy.
Thanks for watching this clip of Take Command. First, why don't you like it? It lets other people know that it was good, and then they should watch it too. And Logan, we have a new exclusive home for full episodes.
We do. 1067 The Fans YouTube page. Go check it out and please subscribe.
Yeah, do what Logan said.
Do it.
Very, very smart.